What is up? What is up? What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Is Nefarious, and as you can see, I got my PML gear on. So that means this is going to be a PML episode. This is the Here We Go series following the Pittsburgh Steelers of the Premier Madden League. We are taking on the Buffalo Bills Week 1 in Bubba, and you know it's going to be a tough go of it. We're going to take a look at the Buffalo Bills roster, take a look at the player spotlight on both offense and defense. Then we're also going to take a look at some of the GM decisions in the GM room that we have to make moving forward, and maybe set some season goals for some players. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Let's take a look at the Buffalo Bills first. So here we are with the Buffalo Bills. We have them up on the screen, the depth chart. We have Josh Allen, who's the quarterback, 99 throw power, 86 speed. I mean, athletic, has all the tools you want in a quarterback. Big, strong, could make all the throws. I mean, he's definitely somebody that we're going to have to key in on. Then he's got Matt Breida, who's a little bit, he's fast, but he's a little bit fragile, so he's not somebody we're going to worry about too much. Reggie Gilman, you got the fullback there. The wide receiver, they don't have Stephon Diggs. As you can see, he is at the bottom. He's injured for at least a week, so we won't have to deal with him, but we do have to deal with Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders. Then he's got Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie. Nothing to really talk about there. Dawson Knox is a tight end that might be really good in the future, but right now he's solid, but not the greatest. But we will have to watch him. The offensive line is pretty solid, nothing crazy. Not the best I've seen, not the worst I've seen. Probably in the bottom half of the league when it comes to overall offensive line. Taking a look at the defense, he's got Jerry Hughes. That defensive line is a little bit on the weaker side compared to the defensive backfield. I mean, he's got Ed Oliver. So the front seven, all in all, Benardrick McKinney, Tremaine Edmonds, who's 84, then Matt Milano, who's 81. The front seven is probably the weaker of the two, but it's still pretty solid. Then you take a look at the defensive backfield where they get a little bit stronger. They got Tre'Davious White, who we would definitely want to avoid. Teron Johnson, who we might throw at a little more. And then you take a look at the safeties. You got Micah Hyde, who's an 88 overall, solid safety. And then Jordan Poyer, who's a very good safety as well. So he's got a very solid team. When it comes to the player spotlight on offense, we definitely want to circle Josh Allen, who's somebody we want to maintain and keep in the pocket. He does have abilities we'll talk about in a second, but we want to keep him in the pocket, and we also want to make sure that they can't beat us with a throw. So we might focus on Cole Beasley as far as the wide receivers, but keeping Josh Allen in the pocket is going to be a huge goal for us. Other than that, on defense, we got Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White, we're not worried about anybody else as much as Tre'Davious White. We want to avoid Tre'Davious White. We want to throw to the side. He's got abilities we'll talk about in a second. But Tre'Davious White is that highlighted player for the defense. On offense, it's going to be Josh Allen and Cole Beasley. Pretty much maintaining Josh Allen, keeping him inside the pocket, but we're going to shadow Cole Beasley and make sure Cole Beasley can't beat us. And we'll show you why in a second when we jump over to the abilities. So here we are taking a look at the abilities on the Buffalo Bills. Tre'Davious White has shut down, so in tight coverage and more has tighter coverage and more interceptions and uncontested catches. He has acrobat, he has medium route KO. Then Stephon Diggs we don't have to worry about because he's injured, thank God. Micah Hyde, pick artist, medium route KO, and then he's got Cole Beasley, who's got slot apprentice and slot-o-matic. So we want to shade him, because if I know him, he's going to try to use him in the slot as much as possible. He's a big Cole Beasley guy, so we're going to try to shadow him with the user. Maybe even some double coverage on mainly him, and let him run the ball, because I don't think Matt Breida is going to hold up for a full game. He might be injured within the first 5 rushes. Josh Allen, like I said, we want to keep him in the pocket. He has that escape artist ability, and then he also has gunslinger. 2 very good abilities for quarterbacks, so we want to maintain him in the pocket. Now that we're done looking at the Buffalo Bills, let's jump over to the GM room where we're going to talk about some of the stuff we have to look at when it comes to the future. So we're here in the GM room. We got some contracts that are coming up. One big contract coming up is Big Ben Roethlisberger. He's coming up at the end of the season, and he is aging and aging fast. Now we're gonna ride it out with Big Ben as a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's brought so much to the franchise. He's been a great quarterback for them. So we're gonna honor him and keep him around and not just do away with him like any other person would do. So we're gonna ride it out with Big Ben. But we are going to set season goals. If he doesn't meet the season goals, he will be in a position battle next season. But if he does reach the season goals, we will give him the benefit of the doubt, or give him the early head start next season when it comes to the starting QB. But when it comes to Big Ben, what we want is at least 3,000 yards passing. We want at least 20 touchdowns, and we want the touchdown and interception ratio to be at least 50-50 or positive. So if he has 20 touchdowns, we want 20 or less interceptions. So that's the goals for Big Ben. He's not going to get traded. He's not going to be let go. We're going to try to maintain him, and hopefully it's not crazy money that he wants. But that's the goals for Big Ben. Moving on to somebody else, we're going to jump over to Eric Ebron. Actually, in a second, before we jump over, Dwayne Haskins Jr. is somebody that's up at the end of the season. We're probably going to re-sign him. He's probably not going to see the playing field unless Big Ben gets hurt or Big Ben really underperforms. But let's move on to Eric Ebron, who will actually Juju Smith-Schuster in the wide receiver position, who will see plenty of playing time and does have a very short leash. So let's move over to Juju Smith-Schuster. So here we are with Juju. He is 24 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. I guess they signed up to a 1-year deal. Making $2.4 million, 84 overall. He's up after this season. He's had the issue with TikTok last season. We are going to play off that and continue that storyline. We do have issues with him, with his TikTok and all that. We want him to perform. He didn't have a great season last season. He hasn't really been as good since 2018 when he had 1,400 yards. This was only in 12 games when he had 552, but he had 831 yards. He did have 9 touchdowns, so he did beat his career high in touchdowns. But we are looking to possibly move him at the trade deadline. So we'll give him a set of goals to meet before the trade deadline. If he doesn't meet those, then we're probably going to trade him. If we don't trade him at the trade deadline, we're going to keep him because we're not going to let him walk, because if he walks, we're giving him away for nothing. And he's a good young wide receiver. So at the trade deadline, for him to maintain his spot on the roster, he will need at least 5 catches a game, or at least 75 yards a game, or at least a half a touchdown a game. So if we're playing 8 games, he needs at least 4 touchdowns. We want him to meet 2 of the 3 goals. So if he meets 2 of the 3, he's all set. But if he only meets 1, he definitely could be moved if the right package comes along. So that's Juju Smith-Schuster's goals on the season in the GM room. Let's move on to Eric Ebron, who's also up at the end of the season. So here we are with Eric Ebron. He's got 1 year remaining. He's making $8.5 million, so he's making a good chunk of change. Hasn't really panned out when it comes to his physical talents. He had one really good season with the Indianapolis Colts. The other time he broke out over 700 yards was with Detroit, but he only had 1 touchdown, but he had 13 touchdowns with the Colts. So looking at Eric Ebron, he's not somebody we're really trying to hold on to too much. He could possibly be trade bait, but we could also let him walk. We could also let him walk at the end of the season. But when it comes to Eric Ebron, we want at least 3 catches a game. Actually, make it 4. We want 4 catches a game from Eric Ebron. We want at least 50 yards a game, and we want at least a quarter of a touchdown a game. So that being said, if we play 8 games, a quarter of a touchdown, I'm not quite sure on the math. Maybe 2 touchdowns. I don't know. But actually, let's make it that a half. So the touchdowns have to be a half too. So Eric Ebron has to meet sort of the same requirements as Juju Smith-Schuster. He has to meet 2 of the 3. He could possibly be traded if the right package comes along, but he also could possibly be let go at the end of the season, because I do like Pat Fairmouth and he's getting the claim of Baby Gronk in the Steelers organization. So he's definitely somebody that's exciting to work with. Other than that, on the offense, there's nobody else we really have to talk about. Let's jump over to the defensive side where we have a few decisions to make. So here we are on the defensive side of the football where we have a huge name that's probably not going to move, but is on the last year of his deal. He did get re-signed in real life. We're probably going to match that and re-sign him on here, but we do want to set some goals for him. We want him to at least have a half a sack per game before we re-sign him. If he doesn't have that, maybe we move him at the trade deadline. So if we play 8 games, we want him to have 4 sacks. It's TJ Watt. I hope he could get 4 sacks in 8 games. Then again, you got to talk about injuries and stuff, so we'll see what happens. But that's what we want for him. And for Melvin Ingram, he's on the aging side. He is at 87 overall. He's somebody that we just brought in, making 1.66 million. So he's not making a lot of money, but at the end of this, given his overall, he's probably going to want a lot more money. Now, for us to justify that contract, we do want him to meet some goals for the end of the season. We want him to match TJ Watt. Match TJ Watt or outperform TJ Watt. If he does, we'll bring him back for the right number. If it's over what we could afford, then we'll have to let him go. But for us to think about bringing him back, we want him to at least match TJ Watt. And yeah, those are the 2 players we really want to talk about on defense when it comes to the GM room. I know Joe Hayden's actually up as well, but you know, he's aging. He's a corner. He's probably going to get slower as well. And then we got Terrell Edmunds. Terrell Edmunds is young. He's a 77 overall. We plan on re-signing him because we really don't have any options behind him unless we draft a safety. But we got too much need. We got too many needs on offense with the quarterback, the offensive line. We got plenty of needs on that side of the ball to even worry about the defense when it comes to the draft. But Terrell Edmunds, let's give him some goals. It's a little tougher on the strong safety. He has his high was 105 tackles. I'm trying to think of the average tackles for PML. Let's say we want him to at least get 65 tackles. 65 tackles will be the goal. Other than that, let's say at least 3 interceptions. He beats his career high. Other than that, I think that's it. We're probably going to bring him back because he's a good depth piece, even if we bring in a better safety. But that's going to do it for the GM room. Now let's jump over to the game where we take on the Buffalo Bills. So here we are playing the Buffalo Bills week 1. Let's see if we get the season off to a good start. Missing a couple key players on offense and defense. Najee Harris on offense and then Stephon Tuitt on defense. But we'll see what we're going to do. We're going to try to force him to run the ball with Matt Breida. Then we're also going to try to, do what we can on offense. But it's been my first game in a while, so let's see what we could get. There we go. There's the blitz. Blitzburg living strong right now. Devin Bush with the big sack. Big sack. No, come on, bro. Come on. Please tell me he's out. Man, I took my guy right out of the play. That's tough. That's tough. He was covered. That's tough. I took him right out of the play. Oh, pick that off. Come on. Pick that off. We needed that. We needed that. I mean, there was no stopping that. Like, I guessed run, and I pinched everything, and still went in. Really no stopping that. Nope. Nothing. Nothing. Bad decision. It was the first. Oh, we just lost the tackle we just picked up. That's terrible. That is terrible that we just lost him. Our offensive line was hurting already. We just picked him up when we lose in the first game. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. Oh no! Oh, he caught me. Oh, he caught me slipping. Oh no. Can somebody get there before he gets in? No. He caught me slipping, man. Oh. And that was the same side that our tackle just came out to. That's the same exact side. That's tough. Let's go, Juju. Let's go, Juju. Big play. Big play. We needed that. We needed that. Kill some momentum. We definitely needed that. Hey, Juju's working on it. Juju's working on it. Trying to stay a Steeler. He's trying to stay a Steeler right now. Come on. Let's go, Juju. Let's go, Juju. Get in there. Get in there. Big play by Juju. Big play. Claypool. There we go. Big touchdown. Ah! I wanted Juju one-on-one. He's been playing well. But bounce back next week. Hopefully we get a better performance. So, tough loss against the Buffalo Bills, but, you know, we're going to try to bounce back next week. Player spotlight for offense is going to go to Juju Smith-Schuster. He had 5 catches, 166 yards, and a touchdown. Very good game out of him. Even Big Ben had a solid game. He was 19 of 26 with 2 touchdowns and an interception. That one interception was on a deep ball. We tried to do a toss-up to Juju. Didn't really work out. We timed it wrong. So that was all on us, not really on Big Ben. But Juju, great game. Player spotlight on offense. We'll take a look and see who's the player spotlight on defense. So there wasn't much to love about the defense today with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It wasn't the worst performance, but it wasn't our best performance. We'll scratch that last TD. It was bad tackling, and you know it is what it is. Mechanics of the game, because I just dove in front of his legs and he just ran over me. To even jump over, I think he just ran through me. But the player spotlight, it's a tough call. It's a really tough call. You could go to either linebacker here, Joe Schobert or Devin Bush. But I think we're going to give it to Terrell Edmonds. He was all over the field. He had 7 total tackles, and then he also had a pass defended. Not a great game from the Steelers defense completely. But, you know, that'll be our player spotlight. And what will happen is whoever's that player spotlight on offense and defense will get a content point awarded to them. So instead of me just using content points on whoever I want, whenever they have a good performance, I'll throw a content point their way. So Terrell Edmonds is going to get a content point, and so is Juju Smith-Schuster. Both are the player spotlights on offense and defense. Stick around. We're going to go over the Come On Neff play of the game, and then we'll talk about some other stuff when it comes to the coaching desk. All right, here we are with the Come On Neff play of the game. Basically, it's the first drive, first possession for the Bills. We're not playing great defense, but we haven't totally imploded yet. I think this was a third down play here. And if you remember correctly, Josh Allen drops back. He's looking. He's going to go for Cole Beasley over the top. Cole Beasley, I'm right there. We got 34 right there. I'm not sure who that is. We'll zoom in and see who that is. 34 is right there. Gotta know my players a little better. But 34 is right there. We use a switch, and we totally take him out of the play. As you can see, he's running with him, running with him. We switch. We move to the left. We're totally out of the play, and it's a touchdown for Cole Beasley and the Buffalo Bills, and they jump out to an early lead. That's the one play, besides the last run that actually went down. I'm not too worried about that. I was a little checked out. But when it comes to the Come On Neff play of the game, it's definitely going to be this one. We use a switch. ball hawk is no longer there. We move to the left and completely take ourselves out of the play, giving them an easy touchdown when it could have been a incompletion and either a field goal or a maybe it would have went for it. I think it was fourth. It would have been fourth and long, so it would have been a field goal or a missed field goal, and we would have been in a better situation than we were down 7-0. So that's gonna be the come on Neff play of the game, and let's go over to the coaching desk and talk about some things we need to improve on. So over at the coaching desk, we're taking a look at some of the stats, and a few things pop out. The rushing game on both sides, offense and defense. Rushing game on our side, we only had 54 yards rushing. On the other side, 177. Big chunk of that came at the end of the game when Matt Breida took it to the house. We'll see how long that was. So Matt Breida took that one to the house, and that was 72 yards. So take away 77. I mean, we give up. We take away 72, so we give up 105. Still above 100 yards. A big key to that too is not having Stephon Tuitt. We're not going to have him for a while, so we definitely got to make sure we're stopping the run. But this is what we wanted, honestly, when it came to the game plan. We wanted to just give up the run and worry about the pass. The only thing is we didn't stop the pass efficiently enough. When it came to third downs, a big thing about third downs, they were 7 of 9, 77% on third down. We didn't come up with key third down stops. One of those being that touchdown we just showed on Come On Neff. So that was huge, and then we lost the turnover battle. So what it comes down to in this game, we didn't control the ball, we didn't control the turnovers, and we couldn't stop them on third down. So if we get some more third down stops, or are able to get the offense off the field and control the ball a little more, we'll have better results. But all in all, not a terrible game. It's our first game in a while. Not too upset about it, but we will get better. Definitely got to be better in the red zone as well. We were only 50%, so definitely got to work on that. But it's only week 1. We got plenty of time to improve, and we'll be back at it next week. Everybody have a great day, and we will see you next time.